Welcome everybody to this presentation about measurement and verification and performance contracts. I'm Daniele Forni, CTO of Italian Federation for the Rational Use of Energy, aka FIRE, and I'm also inside EVO chairing the CMVP MMV subcommittee. So let's start with the definition of measurement and verification, that a process in which is also involved the measurement, but also analysis and verification to report the savings from one or more energy conservation measurements, so your efficiency projects. This is the definition you find in Core Concept 2016, so last version of IPMVP, but as you will see, there's another one coming this year. And let's say to start from the beginning and also arriving to the, let's say to the, in some way, the conclusion of this presentation, MMV compliant to IPMVP, I hope I'll be able to show you that is a solid, shared, repeatable, and cost-effective procedure to evaluate savings, energy, financial, and carbon savings, but also includes quality assurance and other good practice that enhance the savings and the financing of the project. As you see, savings is in quotes because it's performance improvement more than savings, because savings would also mean that you use less energy, but also you have lower comfort or quality and so on. And also you see in brackets carbon, because IPMVP does not require you to evaluate also carbon savings, but it is one very solid way to record also carbon saving through energy efficiency. So let's also have a look at the definition of energy performance contract in the context of EU. I don't want to go through all of this definition, but just have a look at the part underlined. So the definition itself states that you have to verify and monitor the energy efficiency improvement, so the savings at the end, during the whole duration of the contract. So it's really stated inside the definition itself of energy performance contract that you must perform the measurement and verification. Moreover, at EU level, we produced some years ago this technical standard on energy efficiency services, that are the service to improve the energy efficiency that usual ESCO provides to the client. And as you can see from the scheme, you start with an energy audit, and then you implement the action, and then you need measurement and verification, because MMV is the meter of energy efficiency, is the way saving and financial transaction are metered inside the energy performance contract. Moreover, already inside the energy audit, if you look at the European standard 16247 part 1, is one of the characteristics of the energy audit is that energy audit must be verifiable. It's the last one, but because it's in alphabetic order, but you need already to state in the energy audit how you will verify the saving if you implement the measures suggested in the energy audit. Or even better, use the opportunities inside the opportunities that are highlighted by the energy audit. So MMV starts before the implementation, and it's a good practice to have MMV plan as an annex to the contract. And because it's much more complicated to discuss about MMV, about saving calculation after the contract has been signed. So this is just a good practice to bear in mind when you are talking about energy savings. Already stated that MMV is the meter and should be as valid and as accurate as possible to state what should be the financial transactions. This is another part of the EU Energy Efficiency Directive, the Annex 13 on minimum requirements for EPC in public sector. I don't want to go through it. I just would like you to have a look at how many times the adjective transparent appears in this annex, and also have a look at the bold point, clear and transparent provision on measurement and verification of the guaranteed saving achieved and quality checks. So again, MMV according to IPMVP is more than just measurement and verification. It is also part of quality checking. And here you see that this this annex is meant to build trust among the parties, is meant for public sector because usually there's more asymmetry of information in the public sector, but are good practice that should be used in any EPC contract. And I would like to make a parallel with the 6 principles of the IPMVP. Also, those are made, selected, are there to build trust among the parties. As you can see, it's last in alphabetic order, but not absolutely not least the transparent principle that you find so many times in this annex. So I would say that most probably this transparency has been conveyed by IPMVP or in the EPC in the EPC environment. And the other points are accuracy, that is a very, very important part, and conservativeness. Then also the others, but we don't have time in today to go more in depth on the principles of IPMVP and NMMV. And also in the last few years, there's been a lot of production of technical standards and protocols worldwide. I listed here only those from ISO, so global world standards, but there are also some local guidelines or other local standards that are also on the topic. And those are a very good support for the project on on energy efficiency and renewables, but also witness a broader growing interest in MMV. And most of these technical standards can be used with IPMVP or are inspired in some ways to IPMVP itself. Those standards that I list here are all dated from 2014 onward, so quite recent standard. And so let's get a bit more on the topic on measurement and verification, trying to explain something of the principles we are using to do this, let's say, this magic. We are interested in savings, or we should say avoided consumption or energy performance improvement. The only point is that we cannot measure directly the saving because those are absence of energy consumption. So we can determine the saving by measuring and analyzing energy consumption and other variables that are influencing the consumptions. Here is just a graphical representation. So it's very important to have a reference, the baseline period in which we measure the energy consumption and those other variables that we identified are affecting the energy consumption. Then we install the energy efficiency improvement measures, and then we continue to measure the energy consumption. But to evaluate the savings, we have to adjust the consumption that we had before. So this green line here arrives from a model of the baseline period adjusted to the condition of the reporting period, that is the period after the implementation. So the area in green between the green and blue curves are the savings. This approach, in this case, we made a model of the baseline period and we use it to evaluate the savings in the condition of the reporting period. But there are also other kind of approaches, other options for evaluating the savings. So the one we saw graphically represented in the previous slide is the first one, is avoided energy use. Then this normalized savings that is more used in long-term contracts. So you refer to a normalized reference here. So maybe the meteorological year averaged on the last 10 to 20 years. There may be something different in each member state, but just to give you a kind of reference that this could be used again, typically in very long contracts, usually more than 10 years contracts. But there is also a novelty that has been introduced just recently in IPMVP, that is the backcasting. And I think it could be very interesting in the ongoing situation in EU, because backcasting allows to evaluate the savings with a reduced uncertainty if we don't have very strong data from the baseline period, also missing data or data from meters with a high uncertainty, because we can use weekly or even daily consumption data that are now coming and are usually much easier available in a much easier way from the new smart meter that has been rolled out in most member states in the last year. And we can do this also if this meter was installed after the baseline period, because in this case, in case of backcasting, we are doing the model with the data of the reporting period. And so of the baseline year, we can also have just very few data, even just the consumption over 12 months could, I mean, that would be really the worst case scenario, but we can also arrive to that, so we can use that. But please remember always that MMV planning should always come before the implementation of the ECMs. And the good practice is to have it within attached to the contract, so also plan it before signing the contract. Otherwise, cost, complexity, and uncertainty could rise to levels that could even be unacceptable, because always you have to find the right balance between cost and and saving and uncertainty. And so regarding the uncertainty, this is one of the core added value of the IPMVP. It requires you to evaluate the uncertainty in the final result of the saving. Uncertainty is related to any kind of data we are dealing with, but just usually we don't have it expressed clearly, but any measurement device has its own uncertainty. when we do some modeling, and we saw in 2 slides back that we use the model to adapt the condition to another period. Also, the model is uncertainty. Eventually, within the MMV framework, we should have to do, in some cases, some sampling. We have more strong or less strong assumptions to determine the savings. So all of these introduce uncertainty. We have to put all these uncertainties together and have this uncertainty in the final result. For each project, you have to evaluate the right balance cost and the right cost and uncertainty ratio. To finish with just a bit of history, IPMVP history starts in half 1990s. So we are now and arrives to so at the beginning there was another name. It was North American Measurement and Verification Protocol. Then it became IPMVP in 1997, and now there are other application guides available coming in the later this year and in the next years. And all of this is managed by EVO, a non-profit organization led by volunteers all around the world. This allows you to have access to IPMVP volumes for free, just registering on the EVO website. And to conclude this presentation, I hope I highlighted that MMV provides you the confidence, trust, and credibility that energy savings are real and could be used for financial transactions. And those trusted, solid MMV practice is the financing and also possible insurance schemes for energy efficiency. Energy saving could also be potentially traded. There are some experiments also ongoing now, and this solid approach is also the backbone of evaluation of greenhouse gas emission reduction due to energy efficiency improvements and in single projects and in policies and programs. To finish with, let's see you on December 16th, where we could have some chat with me and other experts of MMV. So hopefully to give you solve any or your doubts and giving you additional, possibly giving you also additional advice. Okay, see you on December 16th.